Hello once again, watchers of The Walking Dead. My name is Nick Pell.
I'm hungry.
And also Anna Romsky. And we are going to be talking about the third episode of Season 4. So just know that there will be spoilers in this episode. So if you haven't seen episode 3, Isolation, don't watch this yet. And then come back after you've watched it. And so, the episode starts off with Terry's kind of going bonkers because of him being so infuriated over finding Karen's charred corpse.
And David.
And David's charred corpse.
These are gross, by the way. Sorry, I'm really hungry.
And then he starts shoving around Rick and Daryl, and then Rick just kind of loses it, and he starts beating the crap out of Tyrese. And
he almost broke his eye socket. It looks like,
yeah.
with how swollen his eye is, it looks like somebody who's had their eye socket busted.
Yeah.
If you ever go to a hockey game, you'll see a couple of those.
Yeah. But it seems like for the most part, in this season at least, Rick's been pretty much trying to keep himself under control. Because he's had these kind of rage issues in season 3, and he's been keeping them under control when he's trying to be diplomatic with, or not diplomatic, but he's trying to be nice to Tyrese and try to act like he knows. Well, he does know what he's going through, but he's trying to convey that. And Tyrese is just ignoring him. He just kind of loses it because Tyrese is just not listening, and he needs to get him to shut up and pay attention to what he's saying.
Therese kind of went batshit crazy.
Yeah, more or less. So that's how the episode opened, and then that was kind of a thing that Tyrese dealt with throughout most of the episode, is trying to get to the bottom of who took out Karen and David.
Should we tell him now who it was?
No, we'll get to it.
I was never very good at keeping secrets.
Yeah, because she spoils everything in the first 5 minutes.
I do. I'm very bad with spoilers.
Yeah, I've watched these videos after we filmed. You spoiled the ending in the first 5 minutes of the video.
No.
So, let's see. We have a separation of Glenn and Maggie. Because Glenn very early into the episode realizes that he is infected.
But they were separated before because he'd been in the infected ward, and she hadn't because she was in the watchtower.
Yeah, but we have more of it now. He's actually confirmed to be sick, and so I don't know what they'll do with that. My guess is that he'll survive because they'll somehow get medication and he'll survive it. Because in the comics he's still alive, so. And
I just can't see them killing him off this early when Maggie's pregnant.
Oh yeah, too.
It seems like it's a little early to kill him off while she's pregnant.
Yeah.
That would make it just too overly dramatic, in my opinion.
Okay. I don't know. I could see them doing it one way or another, because we had Lori's death in episode 4 of season.
But she was
3.
full term.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is it's too early in the pregnancy to get
okay. I thought you meant too early in the season.
Well, that too.
Okay.
But mostly just too early in the pregnancy.
Okay. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, but and then one of my favorite scenes in the episode is probably the conversation between Carl and Herschel. Because
Herschel's just no, you're a little shit and I ain't taking any of it.
Yeah. So in order to kind of keep the virus off of the most
lessen the
symptoms. Yeah, they separate the
children
young
and elderly.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a bad person. Let's just
they separate them from the less vulnerable to the illness. And Herschel's in his own little isolation area, and then he's just screw this, I can be way more useful out there. And Carl catches him trying to leave, and they basically have a very funny conversation back and forth, at least from my perspective.
It was hilarious.
It was quite funny.
Not laugh out
one thing
Just humorous.
one thing that was kind of cool once they were outside the prison and some zombie starts to show up. We have Carl. He like aims his gun because he's just gonna take it out, and we have someone start to kind of restrain him and make him realize you don't need to kill every zombie that you find. Only when it's like the only solution to survival. Because the zombie was a fair amount away, it wasn't really a threat to either of them, and Herschel kind of talked him down. He's like, you don't need to do this, don't kill it if you don't have to. And talked Carl down, and so that was kind of good, and I feel like that'll come back in a later episode.
Yeah, because it's kind of like they have to retrain Carl because they got him so... The zombie apocalypse happened... I feel like the word apocalypse is so overused. The zombie apocalypse happened when he was like, what, 6 or 7? Like, he was young.
I would say more 8 or 9.
Okay, but still, 8 or 9, that's still pretty young.
Yeah.
I know he's probably closer to like 13. At least looks-wise, he looks like
yeah,
he's closer to 13.
look-wise he is. I don't think like in the story he's that old.
Yeah. But, so he started really young learning how to kill zombies, and then you saw at the end of the last season of season 3 that he got like really violent towards everyone.
Yeah.
And just kind of cold-blooded in general, and so now they're trying to teach him that he doesn't have to shoot everything.
Yeah.
But then you also have this juxtaposition with this murderer in the prison who killed 2 people.
Yeah.
In cold blood.
Yeah. Kind of
didn't say the name.
I know.
You should be proud of me.
Yeah, I was impressed.
That was really hard, actually.
But kind of going off of the people that are kind of cold, we see kind of the crack in the wall for Beth in this episode too, because for the last 2 episodes and at the beginning of this one, she's all just like, we can't really care, people we kill, we can't let our emotions get in the way, we all have jobs to do, we can't let those get in the way of them. We see that kind of crack when it starts to become personal with her father.
And even with Glenn a little bit,
with Glenn too.
Yeah, because it starts with Glenn.
Yeah.
And then Herschel goes in the woods to pick elderberries and make tea with them, which elderberries actually do help with flu symptoms. Okay. This is a real thing, I promise.
Okay.
So he
did
makes
the research. That's good.
I've used elderberry tea. So he makes elderberry tea, which helps to like alleviate fever symptoms, which is mostly what people have is like unbelievably high fevers. And so then he goes into the sick ward, the quarantine ward, which is cell block A, if I remember right. Yeah. And so you really see Beth start to crack when in the span of probably only a couple of hours, because the episode doesn't really go too far into one day.
No, it doesn't at all.
So in just a couple of hours, both her sister's fiance, because they actually are engaged, and her dad end up in the sick ward. It's kind of like, okay, shit's getting real here.
Yeah, that's very true. And then the kind of secondary story that starts off about midway through the episode is the group going to the college, the veterinary school, to get medication. And 2 things happen as they're going to the place. First, they start to hear a voice on the radio, which is very interesting. And
it's saying something, like, I could only pick out one word, and that was, like, alive.
Yeah, I couldn't really...
Because they were trying to get the signal.
Yeah.
So Daryl, who's driving, is not looking at the road, and I don't care if it's a zombie apocalypse. You should always watch the road when you're driving.
I was thinking that. I'm like, you're gonna hit something or whatever.
And then he did.
Yeah.
Zombies everywhere. That was the biggest herd I have ever seen.
Yeah, all the
thousands, like probably close to 10,000 zombies.
All the students from the campus got infected and turned into zombies.
Oh, I think it had to be more than just the students from the campus. I've never seen a herd that big. They show it, and it's like stretching back. It's got to be...
It's crazy.
I mean, they probably CGI'd in a lot of those, but they probably are trying to show like close to 5,000 zombies.
Probably.
I mean, it's a huge herd. And so, because it's so big, and they came on it so fast, the car gets overrun.
Yep.
So they back up. They build themselves a nice little pile of slippery zombie bodies, which they then can't get off of. And so they have to ditch the car and run into the woods. And for a while, it looks like Tyrese is just going to be like killed by zombies because he's the last one to get out of the car.
Yeah, I was really annoyed at that for a second because I'm like, because in the comics he's actually a very important character. So I'm like, they're just going to kill him off like this when he actually has a very significant death in the comics. I would have been very, very irritated because it wouldn't have done justice to the character.
Yeah, but like you see him surrounded by I would say about 20 zombies, and he's just what was that? He had like a crowbar. He's just whacking at them with
hammer. He had a hammer.
That was one big hammer. He was whacking at them with a big ass hammer. That's the best way to put it, I think.
Yeah.
And so Daryl, Michonne, and oh shit, I can't remember the other guy's name.
The army doctor person.
Yeah, the army medic.
Yeah. Those
three end up running through the woods, shooting zombies, slashing zombies. Michonne doesn't shoot. Michonne just whacks. Just
okay.
Stop.
Just continue what you're saying.
Whacking off heads, running through the woods, and then all of a sudden they stop because they reach a break in the forest, and there's no zombies, so they stop. They turn around, and then the bushes start rustling. Did I say rustling?
You said something.
I don't speak English apparently, so.
I don't know how you're understanding this. Maybe the TARDIS is like allowing.
I don't know.
Allowing us to understand a bunch of languages right now.
Who knows?
Doctor Who.
So zombies come out of the bushes, and then before Daryl can even shoot them, Tyrese comes out and whacks one of them on the head, and then Daryl shoots the other one, and then they keep running. Yeah. And so we have no idea what happens to them, because that's where their section of the episode ends. We don't see any more of them for the rest of the episode. Yeah.
I just want to go back really quick to the voice on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
Because, again, referencing the comics, if I remember correctly, now it's been like 2 years since I actually read a bunch of the comics in a row. The way that Rick and the group like find their next area after the prison is from kind of a voice on the radio that kind of guides them to a certain civilization. And so I feel like that could possibly be a setup for like later on using that to kind of, if the prison falls, just kind of a way to get to their next area of safety.
I think it might fall, just maybe not due to a zombie overrun, but due just to the sickness. They might just decide that we have to leave without these people. Like, I could see that happening. And then we have like 5 episodes of Rick just being tortured by the idea that he left a bunch of people in prison.
I think the fact that the governor is still a thing and he's not dead yet.
But we can't find him.
Can't find him, but I guarantee he will show up at some point.
And because he's got crazy.
And if they follow the comics, it'll follow the right way.
What would make it very interesting? He shows up, they take him prisoner, and then he gets sick. And the infection's back! Okay, so we're at the end of the episode now.
Okay, does Rick, does he have any major scenes besides the end? Well, we could talk about Carol and her like going out into the woods.
Yeah, like so their water pump gets blocked with mud because they have to snake it out of the pond by the prison, which I'm sure you guys remember because there's been multiple scenes of Lori in season 3 standing on that bridge as a ghost. Yeah. Except she's not really a ghost, she's just more like a mirage thing that Rick is imagining.
A figment of his imagination.
So Carol goes out because the water pump is blocked with mud, which does happen a lot if you have a well system, which is, they've got kind of a Jimmy-rigged well. I don't know. Is it Jimmy-rigged or jerry-rigged? Because I've heard it both ways.
It's jerry-rigged.
Where I live, it's Jimmy-rigged.
I don't deal with wells. wells.
I don't deal with wells either. I just drink city water. Actually, I don't even drink city water. Minneapolis water sucks. Okay, back on track.
What are you doing? This has nothing to do with the episode.
Back on track. So Carol goes out to clear the line of mud, and she sets up like this really strange noisemaker thing to attract the zombies, but that only works for so long. And then Rick comes out and sees her doing this, and he's pissed because they decided they were going to do it the next day and do it together, and she's out there clearing it, and so he goes out and starts shouting at her because the zombies are no longer attracted to the wind chime noisemaker thingamajig.
Yep.
And just are coming after her. So she takes off running, loses one knife because she can't get it out of the guy's head.
Yeah.
Which I actually thought that was kind of a great scene.
A little bit.
I just enjoyed that part of the episode in general. Goes running to Rick, they get back inside the fence. And then it's after they get inside the fence, and she's got a couple buckets of water headed back up to the water tanks by the prison.
Really quick before we get to that.
Okay. I'm getting really impatient here.
I know
just
you are. What caused her to go kind of really pissed off and knock over the water jug?
She was talking to Tyrese before that. Yeah, so earlier in the episode, she's talking. Tyrese is asking her to keep an eye on his sister, who's also in the quarantine ward because she has a fever.
Yeah.
And Carol, like, expresses her sympathies for the loss of his girlfriend. And then she gets really upset and knocks over the water barrel and spills like half of the water they have left.
She did that. I'm just like, what are you doing?
I know. He actually screamed that during the episode.
Yeah, like, you don't knock over all the water in the prison. That's a horrible idea. I don't care how pissed off you are. You don't do that.
Yeah. And so at that point, you don't really know why she's pissed off for sure, but you're starting to get an inkling.
Yeah.
And then at the very end of the episode, can I say it?
Yeah.
Yay! At the very end of the episode, you have Rick confronting her and asking her if she killed, was it Cheryl? Karen. There's too many C names for me to repeat.
It's a K name. What are you talking?
KC sounding names. Okay. Carol, Karen, they're very similar. Asking Carol if she killed Karen and David, and she admits to it, and then walks away, and that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, which I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be really any repercussions. Like, Tyrese will find out. He'll probably get really mad about it.
Probably try and kill her, and then not be able to.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah. Whether
it's just an emotional reason or the group actually stops him.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Rick will do something because before he asks her to confess, he tells her that she does a lot for the prison. She helps out with the kids, and she does what she can to keep people safe. And he asks her, "Is there anything that you wouldn't do for the people here?" And she says no. And then he asks her the question, and she admits to it. So I think because she has kind of good reasons for why she did it, she has justified reasons for what she did. Just because she figured, I think, in my opinion, she probably figured that these two were the only sick people at the time. If I take them out and get rid of the bodies, no one else will get sick. It does not work, obviously.
Well, viruses in general don't work like that. They don't spread just one person at a time.
Yeah.
They kind of spread anyone standing in the vicinity can get it.
Yeah. Yeah, that might have explained also, now that we know that she was the one who burned the bodies, and there's possible reasons for why she did it, or at least a reason why she got really upset when one of the little girls who she's watching after ends up being sick as well. So
all I could think of throughout the whole thing is bleach. Why don't you people get bleach and bleach everything?
might not.
That
have
would help.
bleach. They probably don't have bleach.
But if you think about it, bleach would be like the last thing people would raid for during a zombie apocalypse. Food and medicine and bandages would obviously be the first things.
Yeah.
But that would leave you with like household cleaners. And those you can do a lot with, just with keeping infection rates down. They probably wouldn't scrounge for medical masks.
Yeah, but in like aerial infections weren't really a huge concern when the outbreak occurred. It was mainly just don't get bitten by a zombie. And
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like there would be they could get like medical style masks to wear to help protect them instead of just cotton bandanas, which don't do shit.
I just realized that all those movies are in alphabetical order.
Oh my god! You thought I was random.
I'm just looking at them like, what? They're in alphabetical order. That's so interesting.
He thought I was random. And he's looking at movies and saying they're in alphabetical order.
Yep. Anything else that you want to touch on for this one?
I guess I just didn't feel like this episode really moved the storyline along much.
In what way?
I don't know. I mean, okay, a few important characters did get sick or end up in the quarantine ward, but I felt like it was just kind of like a stalemate episode.
Kind of like a filler one?
Yeah.
I can see that, because in some aspects it was, but I think the main story in this season is going to be, or at least this half of the season, is going to be the whole infection thing. Trying to either cure that or figure out what's causing it, and stopping it in some way. So I think in that aspect, it did, because we have a group going to the college where assumably they will find antibiotics and then bring them back to the prison, assuming they don't all die, and which they won't, because it's Michonne and Daryl.
No, and they won't kill off Michonne or Daryl, because I think if they actually killed off Daryl, the writers would have a riot of fans on their hand.
Yeah. But the fact that that's kind of the main overarching story is, in that aspect, I think that they did move the story along, because we have, like she said, we have additional characters getting sick, like Glenn, and probably Herschel now, and then we have people going to try to get rid of the disease by finding medication, and then we also have Rick investigating the whole charred body issue. So I don't know. I think that they're developing things throughout the episode. Like I don't think this. Yeah, I don't think this season's as exciting as season 3 was, just for the fact that season 3 was a whole new area. We were introduced to Woodbury,
which now doesn't exist.
Yeah, and it's just a whole new situation. There's a lot more action involved with it. This season seems a little. It still has action. It has a decent plot, but it's not as so far exciting, in my opinion. So we'll just see how it goes. I still want it to end with the company to come back. That'll help.
Hey, you guys noticed he shaved? Scared the crap out of all of us last night when he came downstairs without a beard.
Yeah.
But yeah, he shaved.
I trimmed-ish.
No, that was shaving.
That wasn't shaving.
Well,
shaving's with a razor. I took like a mechanical trimmer and.
Okay, he trimmed a lot off.
Yeah, because it would have hurt. Okay, I'm not gonna do this. This is way sidetracked. Okay, but yeah, that is our review of episode 3 of season 4 of The Walking Dead.
And next time on The Walking Dead review, beard trimming practices and how to properly do them.
Are you saying I didn't do it properly?
No, how to do them properly according to Nick Pell.
Oh, yeah, that won't happen. Maybe I'll give Herschel some tips.
And Rick.
Rick's not that bad so far. He doesn't have a big one.
Yeah, but Herschel had a big one even when we first met him.
It's gotten big, though.
Not really.
Yeah.
I feel like, in
back
general, they're all a little too clean-shaven for there to actually be a zombie apocalypse happening.
Regardless of beard issues, Yeah, that's the review of the episode. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. I'd appreciate it immensely. And yeah, as always, my name is Nick Pell.
I'm still hungry.
And as always, my good people, keep on watching and don't get eaten by a zombie.
Please don't. It sounds terrible.
Reference The Walking Dead for why it's terrible.